What's going on, you guys? AJ Tucker here with AJ Self Defense, and today I want to talk about a sex trafficking ring busted. It's in Dallas, and that's about 30 minutes away from me, real close. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I live, but this one is close to home. I do teach a lot of self-defense classes in Dallas, but here's the thing. Self-defense goes beyond just fighting someone off. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation where somebody is forcing you to do something, and you can't get away. So in this case, let me see, who are these ladies? Police arrested Lopez Guzman and Fabiola Cardenas. So here's the thing. When it comes to sex traffickers, most people think, oh, it's some pimp taking somebody or some guy kidnapping a girl. These were two women forcing other women in an apartment building to have sex with other people for money. And they found themselves in a tight situation. Like, man, how can somebody find themselves in a tight situation? It's good to understand how sex trafficking comes about. It's so many different ways that it comes about. But in this situation, these ladies were from another country. They may have been illegal, and they brought them over here acting like they were going to help them. And then all of a sudden, they found them in a situation. So the women were afraid to try to escape because they thought, okay, I'm going to get sent back home. But the thing is, it's like they do have a hotline, and I'm going to put the number in the description below where you can call and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble. And so this takes me back to a couple of stories, because which way do you go? I try to stay out of the political stuff. Some people are very hardcore. Don't let anybody into this country. They're taking our jobs, this and that, this and that. Or if you let somebody in this country, that person could be a criminal and they can kill somebody. That's true. But here's the thing. A killer or somebody taking your job doesn't have to be an immigrant from another country. That's already happened. There's creeps in America. There's creeps from other country. There's a small percentage of people that's messing it up for everybody. All right. Now, on the other end, they're like, hey, man, look, they're having a hard time out there. You don't know how it is. You should just let them in. OK. And the thing is, I understand that side, too, because I do have a lot of friends, from Mexico, from different countries, and they tell me those conditions. And we sit back and we talk about it. It's like, dude, we just trying to come over here and have a better life. And I got a couple of stories where the pendulum does swing both ways. If you try to make a rule too hard on one end, it screws over people on this end. If you make the rule too loose on this end, it will screw over some people on this end. Some people will slip through the cracks. It could be some criminals, and bad things can happen. And so I remember when I was in the military, man, this was like way back in 2005. I had just got out of the Army, and I had just did a tour in Iraq. I was very young. And so, of course, like if I see somebody walking on the side of the road, and I still to this day wonder, where is that person going? Where is that person coming from? How far does that person have to walk? But at the time, I would pull over and offer that person a ride. It was mainly guys. I didn't, try to pick up women or anything like that, but it was mainly guys. Hey man, you need a ride, and then they'll hop in. Now, I don't recommend you do that, and I do not do that anymore. I learned my lesson. That's part of the reason why I do self-defense. Like, don't just be picking up people for no reason. But I used to train fitness in the gym. It was called the Grand Prairie Fitness Center, and it was basically almost like 80-90% Hispanic. And it was in a neighborhood where it was a lot of Hispanics. And there's this one guy, Hispanic kid, he was walking, and I'm like, dang, this dude looks like he's walking a long way. Let me pull over, see if this guy wants a ride. So he hops in the car, and he gave me directions to his neighborhood, but he would not give me a ride to the front of his house. It was kind of like on the side of the road somewhere, and he was like, hey man, this is good. And so I just let him out. And so at the time, I was naive. I didn't even think too much about it. I'm like, I guess he doesn't want me to know where he lives or whatever. He got out the car. But, training at that gym for a couple of years, I did meet a lot of people. Some of them were illegal. Some of them were legal. But they told me a lot of stories how people were just trying to get over here. And in that particular neighborhood, there may have been a lot of people who were illegal. And so he probably thought that I was like immigration or somebody trying to trick him, find out where he lives, or it was probably like a home where they did have people escaping over to this way, And the thing is, a couple 100 years ago or so, when there was slavery, Harriet Tubman were taking people and helping them escape. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it. Some people are just trying to find a better life. You do have to scan people and just to make sure they come over the right way. But it's like, dude, don't I don't feel like you should block anybody. That's the way that I feel. Another story, in my neighborhood, and this was a couple of years later. I had a few neighbors. I'm not going to mention their names or anything like that, but very good people. The man, he worked, regular job at FedEx or UPS, and then the wife, she was a teacher. And then out of the blue, she got sent home to Mexico. And so they were from Mexico. I guess her status, something was up with her status. Very good citizen. I believe she even paid taxes and all this stuff. But just out of the blue, and it was real. It was just very quick. She went to go try to do the right thing and get, all her stuff together. But instead of just working with her, they took her and they sent her to Mexico. Here's her husband over here. Here's the kiddos right here. And the family separated for months. I believe it was in between 6 to 12 months. I was moving at the time, and so we kind of lost touch with them. But at the time, I felt like, I felt very bad because doing self-defense, I'm always looking at, different scenarios where people are getting attacked, people are getting murdered. There are some people who do come over, they sneak over here, and they commit crimes. But like I said before, there's people that commit crimes no matter where they're from, whether they're coming from another country, whether they're right here, whether they're coming out of prison, whether they're a doctor, whether they're a lawyer. There's creeps everywhere. And you don't want to let a small group of people force you to go too hard on one group of people. That's just how I feel about it. I'm kind of like in the middle of the pendulum or the seesaw, and I just look here and I look there, and I try to be a free thinker about it. I don't let like one thing just rule my thoughts. But back to the story, sex trafficking. A lot of these girls are in a scenario where they may be over here legally. They're trying to escape from a situation. They don't want to go back. And the person is nice to them. The person is helping them over here. And then they wait a few months, they wait a few weeks, whatever. And then all of a sudden they got them doing these things. They got them doing, they have them doing tricks. They have them having sex with people for money. They got them in this crazy situation, and they are afraid to go to the authorities because they feel like they're going to be sent away. And that's what the person tells them. And in some cases, they may have been sent away, but there is a hotline where they can call and they don't have to worry about it. So back to my example, how the pendulum swings both ways, right? I feel like it's great. They're doing these sex trafficking operations where they're busting them. There's these stings going out. And I feel like it's great where these women have a chance, and men, where these women have a chance to call a number or go to someone and they're on their side. They're like, look, just come to us. We're going to help you out. Don't worry about us sending you away or anything of that nature. We're going to help you as much as we can. We're going to make sure that you're good to go, and we're going to keep you safe, right? So I feel like that's a great thing, and I 100% agree with it. Now, on the flip side, whenever you go hardcore on one end, here's some drawbacks. Whatever program you have where you're helping people out, you always have some people trying to game the system. Like let's say if you play a video game, you're always trying to find some type of glitch where you can get an unfair advantage. So this goes on, let's say this goes on for a couple of years, right? And everything is going great. You're going to get a crop of people who they might purposely come to this country and act like they're being trafficked, and they go to the police, distress or whatever. And then, they can't identify the person that was trafficking them. And the people are like, okay, we're going to help you out. And then they get another crop. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not really in a situation, but they're acting like that because they know they're going to get this, this type of assistance, so on and so forth, right? But again, I'm not against the program. I am all for the program. I do believe that we have to help people who can't help themselves. But I'm just simply stating that people will try to game the system. So got to be on the lookout for that. I do not envy their jobs. How do they get around that? How do they know? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, they deal with it every day. But I hope that they don't just kick somebody out that's really in a bad situation. So I am getting off track, going to other topics, but just wanted to talk about a little bit of sex trafficking, tell you a couple of stories, from my past, but also how does it start? Texas is the number 2 place for sex trafficking or human trafficking. I'll say that, behind California. Both of those states have a lot of people coming over across the border. And both of those areas, they have people taking advantage of people that are just trying to find a better life. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you on the next one. I appreciate everybody hopping on the channel, man. It's finally starting to kick off, man. So this is valuable content to you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.